Alright, my dear student, welcome back to your French language course online. Je m'appelle Chidi. Bonjour. In this lesson today, we are going to begin to focus on the grammar aspect of our learning objectives. We want to understand how the language works, and part of it is understanding how different parts of speech work and how to use them together. When I talk of parts of speech, you may have heard about things like nouns, nouns. In French, we say nom. Les noms. You can make it plural by adding an S. So nouns, pronouns, verbs. You can make them plural, it's okay. Adjectives, that's a J. Adjectives, adverbs, conjunction, interjection, preposition. So these are parts of speech. You take a language, like this is a piece of language. This paragraph is a piece of language. All of the individual words that you see that make up this paragraph, that make up the language, can enter into the different parts of speech. So each word you see here belongs to a part of speech, right? So you can see how important it is now if we can understand how these words, these parts of speech will combine. Once we capture that knowledge, it becomes really easier to be able to combine our vocabularies because we now understand fully how the language works. So in this lesson, we are going to focus on pronouns. There are so many different types of pronouns: subject pronouns, object pronouns, and we are going to focus on subject pronouns. What is a subject? That's a question you may be asking. What is a subject? Now we are going to look at a simple sentence. We say, for example, Chidi is a teacher. So here, these are words that make up this sentence. But each word here belongs to a class. It can be noun, it can be pronoun, it can be verb, it can be article, it can be, those kind of things. So if you look at this sentence, you can actually begin to divide it into three parts. A simple sentence, the structure is S-V-O. S means subject. V means verb. O means object. The subject is the doer of the action of the verb. The action goes the verb translates the action to the object. So in a simple sentence, the person that does the action of the verb is the subject, and it usually comes before the verb. So is the verb. It's part of the verb to be. Now when we go into conjugation, you will understand this more, and don't worry. Try as much as you can to follow, but if you don't understand, that's okay. When we start conjugating the verb être, you will understand this more. So Chidi here is the one that's doing the action of being a teacher or undergoing the state of being a teacher. So we call him the subject. But this is a noun because a noun is just any name, the name of anything, a person, For example, Toronto, which is a place, the name of a place. A country, Canada, the name of a country, it's a noun. Book, the name of an object, is a noun. Chidi, the name of somebody, is a noun. Car, the name of an object, is a noun. Any name at all in the world that you can think of is a noun. So nouns can play the role of being the subject of a verb. They can be the one that does the action of the verb. Now, on the other side of the verb, what is on the other side of the verb is a complement. It's an object. The object completes the sentence. So you can see Chidi is what? Complement. Teacher. So teacher is a noun too, but it is the object of this sentence. It is on the other side of the verb. So when we talk about object in grammar, we're not just talking about inanimate object like car or whatever. No, we are talking about grammatical function, the one that receives the action of the verb. So in simple terms, the subject does the action of the verb. The verb tells us what the action is. The object receives the action. Subject is the doer. Through the verb, the receiver is the object. All right, so I hope this makes sense. We can clarify it. Now, here you have a noun. In a sentence like Chidi is a teacher, Chidi is teaching right now, Chidi will be finishing teaching in the next hour, Chidi will, so you see that sentence will, if you write it in a paragraph, it's going to be boring because you have Chidi repeated all over the place. It's redundant. So what happens in grammar is that you are going to use another grammatical class to replace some of the nouns. And the pronoun, that is where pronoun comes in. A pronoun is any grammatical element that can replace a noun. All right? So it's making sense now. So if I want to talk about myself, I am using I, right? Because instead of using Chidi all the time, calling myself by my name, I am using I to replace my name. So that I, which I am using, is a pronoun because it's replacing a noun. I'm using it instead of a noun. A pronoun is used instead of a noun. In English, like I said, you have different types of pronouns. You have subject pronouns, object pronouns. So this teacher here can be replaced with a pronoun. So any pronoun that replaces the object is an object pronoun. Any pronoun that replaces the subject is a subject pronoun. We have a few subject pronouns in English. Subject pronouns are easy to identify. In English, they are I for the first person. So now we will also be identifying the persons as well. I, you have you have he, she, or it. Third person. Then you have the plural ones. The plural ones are we. Then you have you again, plural, and you have they. These are the subject pronouns in English. This guy is called first person. First person, singular. Singular means one person, one. This guy is second person, singular. These three guys, third person. So we are missing person here. So you understand, we've been saying it, so it should be here. First person singular, second person singular, third person singular. All right, because they are replacing one noun. If I am talking to you and with a friend of mine, two of us, we will replace our names using we. So we are talking to you. So that you is first person first person's plural. Plural because more than one. And then this you, again, I can be talking to you. So you just need to identify when you is representing the name, is replacing the name of one person, and when you is replacing more than one person. When you have you replacing one person, then it is singular. When you have you replacing more than one person, so if I'm talking to you and your friend, then it is plural, right? You guys, or you need to pay attention. That is plural because I'm talking to a group of students. So you become second person's plural as well. Then they, we are talking to you about other people. That is third person's plural. So this is what we mean by subject pronouns. Pronouns that replace subject nouns. So I'm going to clean up so that we can have space to fit in more. So now in French, now that we have understood this in English, in French, we have identified the equivalents of the English subject pronouns. So for I, the equivalent is je. For you, singular, the equivalent is tu. For il, for he, the equivalent is il. For she, the equivalent is elle. For it, the equivalent can be il or elle. If the thing we're replacing is masculine, we use il for it. If it is feminine, we use elle for it. We have on, which means one or people, or they, or we as well. So the meaning will depend on the context. These three guys are our third person singular. Tu is our second person singular. Je is our first person's singular. So first person replaces the name of the person speaking. Second person replaces the name of the person they are speaking to. Third person replaces the name of the thing they are talking about. The plural cases, we, the French equivalent is nous. You, the plural, the French equivalent is vous. And they, there are two versions. If it is masculine, it is il, the S is silent. If it is feminine, it is elle, the S is silent. So now let's go through the French subject pronouns. Répétez s'il vous plaît. Je, tu, il, elle, on, nous, vous, il, elle. Some pronunciation notes here. You can see how I pronounced this singular as il. Here, the plural I still pronounced as il because the S is silent. Singular here, elle. Plural here, elle. The S is silent. You're going to be wondering, how am I going to be able to distinguish when somebody is saying il singular or il plural, or when somebody is saying elle singular or elle plural? Don't worry, we'll get to that. We will use other techniques like liaison and things like that, the ending of the verb and all that, to identify that. Don't worry, we'll come back to that. So what I want you to do now is to take a moment to read the description given here. To recap quickly, subject pronouns do the actions of the verb. They replace the names of the nouns, or they replace the nouns that do the actions of the verb. And they usually come before the verb. You see some of the characteristics. They usually come before the verb. And they are je, tu, il, elle, on, nous, vous, il, elle.